Hey guys, welcome to Ringsiders. Very, very special guest today. Really excited for this one. Ikuro Kwon, MLW. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, excellent, man. Before we record, it's our pleasure. Big fans, big fans. I mean, whereabouts are you in the States?
So I'm from New York originally, but I actually just moved to Florida with my wife.
Nice.
So yeah, we're making things work down here. Yeah.
Excellent, man. What's it like out there today? We've had snow today. I can't imagine you've had it over there.
I'll be honest, man. I miss the snow. I miss the snow. Honestly, if I'm checking, it's probably like 80 degrees right now. It's hot.
Really? Oh,
Yeah. It's
so
hot over
jealous.
here,
So
So jealous.
Yeah.
freezing over here. It was snowing earlier. I just took the dog for a walk as well when I got in from work, and it was a quick walk, put it like that. It was it was cold, man. I live opposite a cemetery as well. So you're walking
Oh,
past there, it's freezing cold, it's chilling, it's
yeah.
there. Yeah, man. But enough about that, because I mean, like I said, we're massive fans, man. I'm so glad you came on. And obviously we talk MLW and stuff, but I know I was doing a bit of research today. And am I right in thinking you were trained by Johnny Rods?
Yeah. It's funny. That's what the article said, which is so weird because I'm not. I never even met him.
Really?
Crazy. Yeah.
I found
My
I was looking, I was like, Johnny Rods? No, he can't be trained by Johnny Rods, but
Where
where did
did that come from? Yeah, where did that come from?
I think people hear one thing and then they run with it. Is what I'm kind of learning with this wrestling
Hey,
thing.
it's amazing, isn't it, how the word spreads and it becomes truth? Because that must be
Yeah,
like a question you get asked so much by podcasters. Like, oh, you trained
yeah.
with
A lot
Johnny
of the ones
Rods.
that I've done,
Yeah.
they can, they do the research, respectfully, and then they come with all this information. Half of it is kind of just guesses,
Hey, well, let's
pretty
try and
much.
find out some of the truth then. So, who was you trained
Yeah,
by?
no. My trainer's name is Kono Kapucha. He was an independent wrestler based out of New York in Queens. So much knowledge, man. When I came in, I was the only student, the only
Wow.
student. So a lot of one-on-one attention. We just connected a lot well. Just, we like the same sports, like the same music. So that always helped. And I think he saw that right away that I wasn't doing this because I thought that I was just, I was I was drinking some Coke one day on this side
Yeah.
of the barricade and said, now I'm gonna do it. Let me put my drink down and hop over. It was never like that. It was first time I saw this, 6 years old. I said, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And I think he felt that because he had the same, he had the same thing. And he
Mhm.
put me on to a lot of older wrestling and things like that, made me appreciate a lot of the things in the 80s, early 90s, things like that. Because when I was born, first when I started watching, it was like 2003. Like I was 8 years old. Like I
Mm.
didn't know anything before then. I didn't like watching old stuff. And he got me geared my mind towards appreciating like why things are the way that
Mhm.
they are now and stuff. And he really broke things down and made me really respect everything that goes inside the ropes and
Yeah.
how to carry myself outside the ropes too. So
Yeah. Was it
if
a
it
big
wasn't
help
for
with
him, man, I'm not here.
was it a big help with psychology as well? I mean, I guess going back and watching the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, especially with that because God didn't make me 6'5", so in
Yeah,
my
you and me
mind,
both,
I'm
man.
and you pick the game, you play the video games and everything, and I'm Undertaker, I'm Kane, I'm Batista doing all these things. Now I'm getting in there saying, I guess I'm not doing any of these things, so he really showed me how to kind of be proud of my size and make me feel that I can wrestle like I'm 6'5" when I'm 5'8" type deal.
Mhm.
So he helped me show me where to find my voice with everything.
That's awesome, dude. I get that. I'm only 5'6", so I totally feel you on that one, man. Yeah, I'm no Undertaker. But MLW, I mean, we're lucky. We catch it over here. And I've said to people that I've come on, we've spoken to from MLW before, it's one of the best hours of wrestling that we get in the UK.
Mm.
What's it like been for you so far working there?
It's one of those things where I always compare it to like LeBron going to the NBA and not having to go through college. Not that there's not a beautiful system that you can learn in like the lower tier, I guess you could possibly call it.
Mm.
But when you go up from basically training to now you're rubbing shoulders with guys that you were studying tape of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're in a locker room and you're hearing people talk about maintaining a family, travel, money,
Mm.
investing, that's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear about They're doing drugs over here. They're talking about these girls over here. They're talking about nonsense. They're not talking about elevating their brand. They're not talking about making real money out of this and making yourself mean something. So when you go from a trainer that really cares about your outcome, and then you go to a locker room where they want to, elevate the product, and now that if you're part of the product, they want to in turn elevate you. That's a great mindset to be around, because now any other locker room that I go into and the vibe isn't the same, I know that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I know that because I know what it's supposed to look like. And I think me being able to kind of like almost not skip a step, but I guess avoid a lot of the BS that turn a lot of people away or turn a lot of people kind of down the wrong road. I wasn't subjected to that. So having Court Bauer, having MLW take a chance on me, someone who wasn't like, I wasn't known at all. They just happened to click on my match while I was wrestling. They said, he fits the bill for what we need right now. Let's get him in here. Let's talk to him. And had great conversations, and they felt that I was good enough to represent the brand and something that they can invest time in and show me how to, work the cameras, talk, things like that. And surrounded me with a great group of guys. Right from the start, they threw me into Contra, and I'm looking next to me. I got Joseph Samael over here. He's been around the world 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Simon Gotch, who is extremely disciplined and has also been everywhere that matters. You know what I mean? And then you got Fatu, who is only around knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And loves this. So now I got the 3 of them. We're talking about everything, and now they're in the main event. So if they're in the main event, the people that we're facing got to be just as knowledgeable as them. So now we're talking about everything. I'm only around positivity. Then you got like Dr. Tom Pritchard talking to MJF over there when I first started coming in. Not even to name drop, but just knowing that like everywhere I look, something positive is happening, something that I could soak in. I just sit back and I just kind of watch, and I just kind of see like what people are at, what kind of questions they're asking, how they're responding to feedback, what the feedback is, and then how they go ahead and when that light turns on, what they do with it. And that's the biggest thing that I could say, like being MLW really taught me, was knowing what really put in perspective, like what you can make out of things with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned briefly that you've really started to work on your personal brand as well, which is something that's important for any aspiring wrestler, I imagine, working on your own brand. I think you've got one of the coolest looks in pro wrestling. Like, I think the mask and everything is amazing. Like, it stands out, and that's part of your personal brand. So what inspired that whole look and attire for you? Is that something you came up with yourself?
So yes and no. So, my big thing was I took much pride in knowing that I was the only Asian American wrestler who wasn't the Asian wrestler.
Yeah.
I sound like this. This is me. This isn't like any, I'm a New York kid.
Yeah.
I'm adopted as well. So in terms of like cultural attachment, I don't really have any. Not that I'm particularly proud of it. I do want to learn about my roots and things like that. But in terms of like initial responses for what I would say, do, act, be like, is very opposite than how most wrestlers who look like me are portrayed and are.
Right.
I have a discipline in martial arts. The only reason why I got that was for wrestling and just getting into fights as a kid. You know what I mean? Like, it had nothing to do with, I look like this, no, it was never like that. But when it got into wrestling, I'm not going to just put my discipline that I've worked, 15 years for on the back burner. It's not going to be, I'm going to use it, with Contra, I started to understand how to embrace what people first see. They're going to see a kid, they're going to see my face, they're going to see, and they're going to expect what my voice is going to sound like. They're going to expect what my style is. And I try to take that to where it's kind of relatable and comfortable. And then I bring in me. So, like the braids, things like the tattoos, like that's me. So, they can never change that. The mask is something that I was unsure of. I was like, only the ugly guys wear the mask. I don't want to wear a mask. But then, they explained to me like what it could mean. They showed me Great Muta. They gave me a lot of tapes on showing me guys like that, because I was just a WWE guy. I didn't know about the independent scene. I didn't know about Europe. I didn't know about Japan. I didn't know about anything like that. So so coming into that and meeting all these guys, one, I wasn't starstruck by anybody, which I think helps, because now you're not that I'm placing myself equal to, and it was just, I'm a man, you're a man, we're doing this, we're in the same locker room, we can have a conversation without me wanting a picture afterwards. Are you expecting me to, I got to be with, I don't do that, you know, and that's not out of, it's out of respect now, but before it was just out of pure ignorance. I didn't know a cameraman from a star, which is crazy to think about now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I approach it. I approach everybody the same. You treat me with respect, I'm gonna treat you with respect, and hopefully we can learn something from it. So a lot of these styles, it was a lot of a lot of fighting with myself, saying I don't know how to be, I don't know how to not talk. If I talk English, are they gonna get mad at me? If I, make certain facial expression, is it gonna be see-through to the Ikuro Kwon character? I'm supposed to be this mysterious pit fighter. What if they let me talk? They're gonna know I'm not from Japan. Like I'm gonna sound like this.
Yeah.
And then everyone was and then like little by little, week by week, month by month, things started clicking again. Things were making sense, and they were saying like, no, like keep doing you. That's why we brought you in for you, not to change it. Now this is just a job. This is a persona. This is an energy. Now you have to capture it and make it make sense. And the last episode, I got to really do that. I got to cut a promo for the first time ever. I got to share my voice, kind of add myself into kind of what was going on, and give myself kind of an image that wasn't just that's Contra, Fatu, and Mads Kruger and then him. It wasn't, I know who's gonna get thrown off the cage this time. It's gonna be the smallest guy. I know it's gonna be, I hadn't faced the middleweight since I got here. I'm 180 pounds if I'm lucky. You know what I mean? And I wrestled in that cage match, bro. Jeff Cobb, Hammerstone, Holiday, Savio Vega, even on my side, everyone, even the Suicide Squad, we got everybody. You know what I mean? Last week last time I had the judge who's 6'9", and then I called out Fatu right after. I mean, I wrestled Davey Boy, Brian Pitt, there's nobody my size that I wrestle, which I take pride in, knowing that I'm going to step up to anybody. But if I'm not getting a world title shot, give me some middleweights, man. My back hurts.
I am not surprised, because I saw some of the moves you took from the judge, and I'm glad it was you and not me. I was going to say that, because he's a big dude. We've spoken to the judge before, and he is pretty big.
He's not just a big guy. He's an NFL guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of footwork is ridiculous. He is like, he has like Wayne Rooney footwork, and he's 6'9". It's not right. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah. I remember when I spoke to him before, and I said, like, dude, is there anything you haven't done? It was like NFL, wrestling, and bodybuilding. It's just the guy. He's a unit. He's a machine. Yeah.
And he's a great father and a great husband. And
one of the nicest guys I've ever spoken to doing this. Really, just an absolute sweetheart. Yeah.
He's still owed. I mean, I still owe him something. I still owe him a kick to the head or something. But
I just want to touch on the Contra unit as well, because I mean, for me, there's factions all over the place. I mean, AEW's got factions. For me, the Contra unit, I think, are the top faction in wrestling at the moment. I mean, is that something you agree with?
Man, first when it was given to me, I was watching the tapes, trying to figure out where I fit in with everything, because it wasn't really my style, like the dark, sadistic. Like I never really tapped into like that kind of side, or that obviously did bad things and whatnot. But in terms of like that aura, I never really kind of tapped into there. So like the global terrorism on violence and all these types of things. So I'm really trying to learn like that darker side, and trying to see where I fit into it. And then I'm just looking again at the talent. Joseph Samael, when he was with us, he probably one of the, if not the best promo, like in present. His promo is just,
and people don't realize. I don't know if a lot of people realize. Well, he's a former NWA world champion.
That's right. That's
right.
No, he's been around, man. Like he's been around everywhere. And then you got Gotch, who, is so like technically sound.
Yeah.
We really had like, we were just like an avatar. We really had everything in that group. Everything. we had youth, size, knowledge, like skill set. We had the mouthpiece, we had the muscle to match it. We had the world title, we had everything.
Yeah.
We had and then the heat was insane. Like that, some of the riots that they did, I came in after that.
Yeah.
So so when we went down to Mexico, and they were so mad. I'm looking at I was like, thanks for putting me in this. Like, I just walked in, and now they're throwing batteries at us, they're throwing pesos, they're throwing it was a rough scene, but that's how they were doing the job right.
That's it, man. That's it.
You mentioned as well that you want to fight more middleweights, which I'm hoping to see soon as well. Obviously, middleweight champion Tajiri at the moment in MLW. That's got to be a dream match on your bucket list right there.
Man, that's something too, man. So that's one dude I took a picture with. One because I've watched him since I was young. There's guys that are coming up now, and again, like with medicine and training and therapy, a lot of the guys, like, they're getting a resurgence now, and they're not just one act guy. Like, they're wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They're in it, and Tajiri is one of them. Like, that title match was insane.
Yeah,
insane. I mean, like especially like my boy Myron, like another one, like he gets it. He gets it. Another great person, great father, and he's and for him and Tajiri going at it like that, man, like that was something where I knew I had to tap in with both of them. At some point. I got to.
Do you reckon you can see yourself taking the title off Tajiri? Are you the guy to take it off him?
Oh man, I mean, we both do a lot of similar things, and we both had that mist. That's gonna be an interesting element to kind of dance with. We both got. I say I got the quickest kicks in the game. He said he said he has the deadliest kicks. There's only one way to find out. If I say mine's quicker, I don't care how deadly yours is, because my foot gets to your face first. Doesn't matter how hard you kick. So I would love to see. Who's got the
most deadly mist out of the two? Because I know there's different types of mist. Who's got the most deadly mist?
The mist is probably one of the hardest skill sets I had to really learn. He does it effortlessly.
Yeah.
I've seen him do 3 different mists.
Right.
I don't even know how that's even. I don't even understand.
I don't even know how you do one.
My head around.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it. But like I said, I feel that I'm one of the quickest strikers, the quickest instincts.
Yeah.
In wrestling, regardless of MLW. I don't think anyone is like, I'm seeing 5 steps ahead of where we're at. And I'm thinking again, he could have the deadliest everything. If I'm first, I'm first.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's it. Speaking of ahead as well, I mean, obviously MLW Super Fight.
That's right.
Cashflow Ken Broadway coming up. I mean, are you ready for that one?
I've been ready for that one. He's someone who, we didn't come up together, but we brushed shoulders in a lot of areas. We created a pretty solid friendship, based on nothing more than, we're both New York kids.
Yeah.
We both love wrestling. We both love hip hop, and we both do things our way. And even though they're very different ways, somehow that makes us so much more alike, because we'll never, ever take a handout. We could just fade away into nothingness, and we could die happy knowing that we never, ever took a deal, took a bargain, so, sold our integrity, turned our back on someone that we were trying to come up with. Anybody that we came up with or trained with, every day we're pushing to come to be right with us.
Yeah.
Not because we have to, but because we understand the talent, and knowing that who we have and who we can put our names on are respectable. And I think there's not a lot of that in wrestling. A lot of times in wrestling, especially that I've seen, like a lot of people just want to kind of redo high school.
Okay.
They lift a couple weights, learn how to put some makeup on, and now they want to be prom king, prom queen. And me and Cashflow, we're two guys that we were looking at, like, we were at the cool table in pre-K type of thing. So we weren't even, we weren't even trying to, like, we're doing this for other reasons.
Yeah.
We're not trying to go into a time machine and do the other stuff. We know who we are. We're proud of who we are, and we know that we're gonna do it our way. You know, he's been killing it. And if you look at his resume, he's only been with killers. He's only wrestled killers. He refuses to sign a contract, to drive, to fly anywhere that doesn't matter. And I'm the same exact way. I've only had 57 matches in my career, from day one till now, 57. Now, because I've always believed it's not how many fights, it's who you fought.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, repetition is important, practice is important, but if you're disciplined and you know how to treat your body, you know your game plan, you know what you can do, you know your limitations, and you know how to exceed them safely and smartly, you don't need to wrestle 7 times a week. You just don't, in my opinion. That could be wrong, but I know he shares the same value to make sure exactly that, you know, my parents are good, my families are good, my friends are good, my wife's happy, things, you know, rent's paid, the lights are on, everything like that. And making sure that if my picture is next to someone else, it's not going to be, oh, who's that? It's never, I never want to fight like that. It's going to be someone who matters, someone where there's a stake involved, somewhere that's going to elevate my brand and in turn elevate theirs, which elevates the company, which elevates wrestling.
Well,
I know.
For context, you said you've only been in the ring with killers. I mean, if people are unfamiliar, I was looking at doing some research too. The people you've been in the ring with, you've been in there with people like Loki, for example, who, you know, is the definition of a killer in the ring. You know, I know you hit hard, he hits hard too, you know, and that's what you want. And you want people who can match your skills. You know, Brian Pillman Jr. in AEW now, Davey Boy Smith Jr., he's everybody knows those names. And these are people who can bring it in the ring. So when you say you've only had so many matches, you've only had maybe less than 100 matches, but every single one of them has been with somebody who can test you, challenge you, and make you into a better performer. And imagine when you are at like 1,000 matches, imagine how good you're going to be then.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm thinking. If I treat every game like it's a championship game, you know, that's what I want, and I want that feel to be there, you know. And I know the road that I'm choosing to take is a lot slower. You know, I don't sit on Twitter all day. You know, I don't pander a lot. You know, things like that, which sometimes could be to my detriment because that's kind of the game now. That's kind of how it is. I was just very like. I'm very used to kind of keeping my head down and just doing business.
Keep it that way, man. Twitter's a toxic place.
That's kind of, you know, it's just not a real place.
It's not
type of deal. So, you know, I don't like to be involved in it. I don't need to be everybody's friend. You know, we're coworkers. If I was working at McDonald's, I guarantee the people that work at McDonald's aren't chilling with their coworkers every day. They're not following them on Instagram and Twitter and being like, "Oh man, you're so good at your job." But like, we're all coworkers.
Yeah.
Twitter sometimes Twitter looks like a high school yearbook. It's just everyone saying, "Have a good summer, man. Love you. Great picture."
Yeah. No,
I want to kill you. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, fuck you. I don't care. Like, that's like, I don't like, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You're trying to fight these people, not tell them that their abs look good. Or
and you know, and listen, and I'm not, and I'm listen, I've done it. You know what I mean? I put my friends over all the time. I know, but I'm a big proprietor of, like, you know, game respects game. There's people who I haven't wrestled yet who I'm big fans of. Kevin Blackwood, that's one person, for example, like someone who I admire. I love his work. We've never wrestled before, but I'll tell him how much I like his shit all the time because it's just how I feel. That's just person to person. That's not wrestler to wrestler type of deal. That's just man to man. Like, I see what you're doing and I appreciate your craft, and that's kind of, you know, and that's it. But I'm not out here trying to, like, I don't want to know what everyone's eating for breakfast. I don't want to know, like, you know, I don't care about your OnlyFans. Like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. You know, but I don't hate on it. I just feel
it's just not for you. Yeah, I get that.
We're with you there, man. 100% we're with you there. But I'm obviously, before we wrap up and let you go, I mean, what are the goals, man? What's the goals for the future? I mean, MLW is going places. What's your plans?
My plan is, besides the middleweight championship, because I need that.
Yeah.
I need that. It is it is having it's building a legacy. Not not movies, not all this other nonsense. I'm talking about actual like respect outside the ring, respect inside the ring, respect when I go back for life. Where like you can't, I know I'm clean. I know I do things proper. I know the path that I walk is correct for me. And I know I'll never look back with regrets of how I handle myself as soon as I started in wrestling. There's no one I turn my back on. There's nobody who could say a bad word about me and how I conduct myself, how I treat others, and how I am. So that's the biggest thing for me, is knowing that my peers respect my talent and and how I carry myself, that the fans appreciate what I'm trying to do, and not only show, of course, Asian representation, but show me and show that I'm the exception to many rules, and one of them being you can't typecast me as this. I'm only me. There's never been anybody in wrestling, past, present, or future, that looks like me, talks like me, is me. There's nobody, and I take a lot of pride in that. And as long as my name is stapled as in terms of he did it his way, I think that is right now, that is a pretty good 5 to 10 year goal right now, and maintaining that, because I'll always be happy.
That's as real as it gets, really, isn't it? Like, usually when we ask the question, what's in the future, what do you want to do, we get a very in character kayfabe answer, but that seems as genuine and as personal as it gets. You just want, when 5 years time, when people bring up your name, they want to know, like you said, a legacy that comes with it, and that's what you're starting to build now.
Because the resume comes with that too. Because when you have that type of understanding, then the people who you wanna face you. And then when that happens, and it's a mutual understanding of, all right, it's a challenge for me, it's a challenge for you, then that's how magic gets made. So I look forward to continuing to learn about this business, about the business end of it, the in-ring aspect of it. I look forward to elevating MLW to a brand that doesn't have to have second place, third place. Like, no, that MLW is not a stepping stone to get to. It is the place to go. And I think MLW investing in youth talent with different type of mindsets, with respect, I think that we can really do that with the roster that we have. We have the best wrestlers in the world right now.
I could not agree more. I really do. Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, we get MLW for an hour over here, man. It's arguably the best hour of wrestling I watch every week. It's just
it's got everything.
MLW is a player, man. It really is. But before we go, man, is there anything you want to promote, plug, any merchandise, your socials?
Yeah. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Ikuro Kwon, Instagram at Tristan Tai, TRISTEN _THAI _ I believe. Me and Cashflow, we're gonna lock horns on Saturday in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then next week, my trainer Kono begun his own promotion, Remarkable Wrestling, and their debut show is going to be in Deer Park, Long Island, New York. My tag partner, Gabe, who you should check out. My partner Gabe, Gabe Sky, he's wrestling ACH, which is the biggest match of his career. I think they're going to do some really big things. And I'm going to scramble, and then I'm hopefully going to be in a battle royal. Hopefully I'll win that thing and get another belt. So we're going to see what happens. But I'm super excited. I can't thank you guys enough for bringing me on. This is really, really, really cool.
Oh,
really cool.
Anytime, dude. We'd love to get you back on and see if you've added some more gold to your collection at some point.
Yeah, man. No, I'd love to, man. I'd love to. What time is it for you guys right now?
5:30.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
so not too bad.
Not too late.
But don't
maybe one day we'll be in the same time zone, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. But we'll stay in touch, though, man. We'll get you back on as well, because you thanked us, but we can't thank you enough as well, man. I always say this: when you're watching wrestling and there's certain wrestlers stand out, and that's who you're drawn to. And we've both become so drawn to you, man. And we're big fans. We're going to follow you, and we will definitely get you back in the future if you're cool with that.
No, absolutely, man. I appreciate that so much. For real.
No, man. Anytime. For now, Ikuro Kwon, thank you very much, man. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.